Hey everyone, it's technology expert Burton Kelso here with another tech tip to help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Today we're talking about back to school, and guess what? I'm ready for back to school. Not really, but my boys are. I've got my backpack and I've got all my stuff. Only thing that I'm missing is making sure that my boys are cyber secure, which mine are, but are your kids cyber secure when it comes to back to school? There are a lot of threats out there that kids have to worry about, and many parents don't think that their kids are targets to criminals. But the fact of the matter is, cyber criminals don't care what age you are. So it's very important as parents that you are taking steps to make sure that your kids are safe. So, what do you need to worry about as far as cyber threats? Well, let's take a look at some of the top cyber threats out there that kids are facing, and I will show you how to stay safe. So, threat number one, everyone should be familiar with. It is phishing. And phishing comes in many forms. There's voice message phishing, there's text phishing, there's also email phishing as well. Now, how do your kids get phished? In most instances, it's going to be either voice or text because they're sharing their smartphone number. A lot of kids don't have emails other than that school email. You may get phishing attacks there, but many parents don't see the phishing attacks that come through because they're on their kids' smart devices. So, parents, make sure that your kids are aware that criminals will try to phish them for information, especially if you have kids that are playing online games. They're giving out their cell phone number. Maybe they're giving out their email address to get certain upgrades in specific games. So be careful as a parent and make sure that your kids are aware that there are phishing threats that are designed to ask for specific things like parent credit card information, home information. That's stuff you don't want to give out. Watch those accounts that you share with your kids. Make sure that your kids talk to you before there is any online purchases or that they do anything that involves them giving out personal information. And parents, I'm going to say this a lot during this video, make sure you're monitoring your kids' devices. And I'm going to say it again. Well, our next threat has to deal with cyberbullying. Unfortunately, it happens. Happens to adults too, but also it happens to kids. So there's two sides to the story. Parents, I'm going to say this first. Make sure your kids aren't bullying. And parents, keep your kids off of social media as long as possible. I'm going to say they can get on when they're driving, but I know that's not realistic in most households. But when they're on social media or even online gaming, kids are being bullied. Parents don't realize that in the chat sessions for a lot of games and social media sites, kids are bullying them. So parents, I'm going to say it again, check your kids' devices. Make sure that they aren't being bullied because it's going to happen. So be aware. There's bullies out there that are trying to shame and make your kids feel worse than they should. My next tip is online gaming during the school year. Online games suck. Well, not really. I enjoy them, but the whole purpose of online games as opposed to old school games is the fact that your kids are staying glued into these online games 24/7. And you definitely don't want to battle that demon during the school year. Old school games, meaning ones that you insert a CD, I almost said cartridge, I'm dating myself, a CD into a gaming system are good because those games have a beginning and an ending, and there's save points where kids can save their progress. Now, for online games, normally there's no save process, so parents out there deal with kids who aren't able to get off of their devices because they're in the middle of a match. It goes in my household and I hate it. It's like, turn that dang thing off. But online games should be limited during the school year because they just don't quit. And keep in mind, online games are designed to make your kids addicted to them so that they constantly come back to those games. If you're going to do online games during the school year, make sure that you're doing it on the weekends where kids may have a little free time before they play their online games. And then finally, make sure that your kids, if they're playing online games, set limits so that they're not overplaying past their limits. And also, one last thing, check parental settings, not settings on the device, but make sure they're playing age appropriate games. So, with that said, let's move on. Cyber crooks are targeting your kids, meaning that they want to exploit them with sexting scams. Sexting scams have risen, and they've also been called, not catfish, but sextortion scams. So extortion scams work when criminals lure your child into taking nude photos. Criminals get those photos and extort the kid, saying that they're going to release them to the internet. That is a real thing, and several kids across the country have committed suicide because of this. So parents, beware. Make sure that criminals aren't trying to entice your kids to sext, because as we all know, once it's on the internet, it's always on the internet. So make sure that your kids aren't being extorted by cyber criminals from sexting, which brings up another interesting thing. Your kids are sexting back and forth, and you don't want that to happen with their classmates either. So make sure that you, again, I'm going to say it again, monitoring your kids' activity, and also take those smart devices away at night. That way kids can't be doing what they're not supposed to be doing. Caught my oldest son on some site at 3 a.m, actually both boys, because they had their devices. Take them away at night. That way they can get a good night's sleep and don't have to worry about the addictions of technology and the irritability that can come with looking at blue light on their screens. One other thing that you need to be worried about as far as cyber crime, or at least electronic theft, is your kids' devices. Make sure they're just not laying them around. I can attest, as a child, even though I didn't have a smartphone, I would leave stuff laying around because I just didn't have the mind set to keep track of that stuff. Kids are crooks. Adults are crooks. So unless you like buying new devices all the time, I would recommend that you either A, get on your kid to make sure that they're keeping track of their stuff, or make sure that you're turning on Find My Device on all of your devices. Android devices, Windows devices, and Apple devices have Find My Device or Find My Phone. Turn it on. Your kid loses their device, you can use another phone or computer to track that device down so that you can retrieve that expensive tech item. Now, finally, schools usually do a good job as far as parental control software, but as a parent, you need to make sure that they're going above and beyond. Parental control software will only go so far as to keeping your kids safe. There are many instances where parental control won't work. If there's a new popular social media tool that pops up, your school may not be aware of it and may not block it. If your kid is chatting in direct messenger, parental control software isn't going to capture that. So again, check your kids' devices. Parental control is not all inclusive. Make sure your school has parental control software installed on their devices as well, so that you can get your weekly report to keep up with what your kids are doing. With that said, if you've got comments or questions about what you should do to keep your kids cyber safe, leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you to help you answer those questions you may have about keeping your kids safe and other cyber tips. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and share with your family and friends. You know they want tech tips, so make sure that you're sharing these items with your family and friends so that they can become a little bit more cyber savvy. Folks, you all know I love technology. I've read all the manuals and I'm serious about making technology fun, safe, and easy to use for everyone. So take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile. And thanks for watching.